Y'all know I'm really excited about this one. Sharen, my baby, my main. Sharen just got her ultimate. She got new Transcendent mods, and that means she's got new builds. Really fun ones, too. So, the key to the build here is going to be the gun that she has in her hand, that blue Beetle. So, the blue Beetle has a unique ability that was buffed, and fusion, we're going to ignore the second one for now, this purification. We're focusing on arcane energy that is triggered by her fusion abilities, which is going to be her 1 and her 3, also her 4, but it doesn't really matter. We're only going to be focusing on the first two, and I'll explain why in a bit. But arcane energy, when it's triggered at 100%, it's going to last for 10 seconds. It doesn't matter because we're going to be spamming, and it gives you a 115 critical hit rate of your skills. Right now, I'm not fully certain if that means that it stacks on top of whatever your build is, or if it's a standalone. For now, we'll just call it a standalone because we're going to be removing our skill, most of our skill critical hit mod in order to replace it with this. That's why we need this gun. So our components are going to be half and half, battle aesthetics and annihilation, so that we can get a boost in our skill duration and critical hit rate. So we already have 115, now we have plus another 18, almost 20. So it's already kind of stacking there. Our reactor, we're going with a scout rifle trigger because we have the blue Beetle, and electric and fusion, that's going to be boosted naturally. We're going to go with fusion boost plus critical hit damage. I think this is going to be really important because the ability ambushed is going to be triggered and really revolves around our ability to kill at least one person. So we want to maximize our damage output. Going into the modules. So ambushed is the one that we are talking about today. It modifies so that killing an enemy while in active camouflage, it returns her to the same state. In active camouflage, her agility increases and her shock bomb or shock nuts is converted into an attack skill. Nice. So her passive goes from ambush to caught in ambush, meaning that if she unalives someone during the period of invisibility, she maintains invisibility. It also gives her a boost in outgoing damage by 15% for anyone not watching. It's kind of like a built-in dangerous ambush mod, right? So you could use dangerous ambush. We're not using it here, and I'll explain why in a bit. It also changed shock nuts to frangible rounds, which gives her a skill power times 1000%. Technically 1009, but let's round it. And her skill 1 still remains her most powerful ability at skill power times 1300%. All right. So her active camouflage is now transitioned into one that has a lower duration, but it increases her movement speed by 30%, decreases her cooldown by 30%, and ambush, which is still triggered, increases outgoing damage by 100%, and increases her skill critical hit rate by 22%, and her firearm critical hit rate by 22% as well. So we have those boosts built in. So the modules that we're using is going to be built around multi-talented because both of her abilities, Dimension and Fusion, right? Dimension is going to be the actual number 2, the invisibility trigger. And this is going to trigger a negative 20% to her cooldown for the first 5 seconds. Okay, so this on top of the cooldown that we're going to get from MP conversion makes it a 56% decrease to MP makes it a 56% decrease to her cooldown. But remember, there's a built-in drop in 30%, so that boosts it to 86%. So that means her skill 1 drops to about 0.9, and her skill 3 is around 2 to 3 seconds for the first 5 seconds, and then it boosts back up. But you'll see in the video that it doesn't really become a problem. So that's why we only have one mod, and we tried this with Nimble Fingers and it struggled a bit. I find this to be the best one to maximize her cooldown using only one specific mod. And this is the only mod that we're using that actually has a dock and MP because we do need MP for this build to work. That being said, you'll notice there's a lot of blues on here, right? The reason why is because we built this around maximizing our power output, maximizing our range without sacrificing any of our abilities. So we wanted to limit the amount of decreases or debuffs that we had built in. And some of these trade-offs in the purples tend to be that. So we have fusion specialist, electric specialist, the base ones, so that we are maximizing the amount of power and power modifier without having a decrease in our cooldown, which you'll get from maximize skill power, or max skill, max power, or MP from skill amplification. So we wanted to remove those. We also didn't use the focus on because as we seen, we don't really need an additional boost in cooldown, and they are decreasing the amount of power compared to fusion specialist and electric specialist. So we don't have skill insight. We have skill concentration to boost our critical hit damage and frontline to boost it even further. We have frontlines also increases our critical hit rate slightly at 27%. So you're seeing it starting to stack a little bit. You could have skill insight, and we did do that at one point to increase it even further, but we realized that there was diminishing returns as with this build. There really wasn't a time where I noticeably saw us not actually hitting a crit on any of our abilities. So remember, we need that blue beetle in order to make that effective. And we replace skill insight with amplification control, which increases our skill range, which is going to be really important so we can hit the maximum amount of range. Of course, you can have max range here, but that's going to give you a huge decrease in your skill power, right? You're dropping your modifier by 20%. We don't want that. So this one, we get a boost in skill effect range. We get a boost in shield, in max shield, which is important because the HP mod that we're using is HP amplification, which gives us the maximum boost without losing MP. And we do have that drop in shield, but again, with amplification control, we're getting that boost right back, right? They cancel out. And then the last mod that we have here is skill effect range in skill expansion. So we have two mods here with increasing our skill effect range to a total of 144. Is it the max that we could possibly do? No, but it does increase our frangible rounds from 3.5 to 8.5 meters. This is a huge range. And our cutoff beam from 4 meters by 6 meters to 10 meters by 14 meters, which is a huge range. Okay, so you'll see in the video that this has no problem running through a 400% that is actually leveled to have 3 people. So I brought 2 other people with me in this 400% and specifically instructed them to just kind of hang back and play support so that the enemies would be scaled to 3 people, but only 1 person was going to be running through them. And you'll see that this build has no problem running through this entire thing and doing almost 1 billion damage, never going down, and even being able to finish the bosses at the end. So this is the build that we're going with. We did try a different iteration with Dangerous Ambush that had a really nice boost in damage, but it just struggled to maintain. So you'll notice that with this one, with all of these components put together, plus the blue beetle, plus the effect range, plus the boost in the battle aesthetics and the skill duration, it gives us a well-balanced machine that allows us to do a ton of damage and have fun with it while maintaining her true assassin nature in invisibility. So this is a really fun build. This was super fun for me to work on because I love Sharen. Make sure you do the follow, the subscribe, all of the fun stuff that you're supposed to do. And yeah, we'll see you on the next one. But let me know what y'all think in the comments. Is this good? Is this bad? What do y'all think? Do you have a build that you think would work better? I don't know. Let me know. See you on the next one.